Cleveland football from the team who knows it best. Millspin presents the Orange and Brown Countdown.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Orange and Brown Countdown. I'm John Telich along with PJ Ziegler. We are getting you ready for game day between the Browns and the Titans, along with our trio of experts.
John and I will check in with Browns legend and radio analyst Doug Deacon, longtime Browns sideline reporter Andre Knott, and Browns radio network host Tony Rizzo in just a minute. But first, here's a look back at how Jarvis Landry had a breakout game in the Browns' win over the Jags.
12 yards per carry in the fourth quarter. Mayfield a fake, throwing to the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. Jarvis Landry. And just like that, the Browns take the lead.
Jarvis Landry caught 8 balls for a season-high 143 yards and his first touchdown of the season, helping the Browns hold off the Jags 27-25 and improve to 8-3.
Well, Jarvis has been limited by injuries to both his ribs and hip much of this year, but he looked as good as he had all last season long against Jacksonville. And Kevin Stefanski and the coaching staff deserve a lot of credit for getting Jarvis in favorable matchups.
And they'll need to do that again against a talented Titans secondary that gave Baker Mayfield fits in last year's opener. But the good news is Myles Garrett should be back, and he has 3 sacks in 2 games against the Titans. It has been a long time since the Cleveland Browns played meaningful football in the month of December. Finally, here it is.
It's really cool to see, 8-3 in the city of Cleveland, and we're playing well, and see if we can keep on playing well.
The Browns are 8-3 and the 5th seed in the AFC playoff race, and their matchup today will feel like a playoff game against the 8-3 Tennessee Titans, who are first in the AFC South Division, led by the league's leading rusher, Derrick Henry, who has rushed for over 1,200 yards this season.
We got to make sure that we're gap sound, number one. You have to defeat blocks. Versus a team like this, you have to defeat your one-on-one blocks. And then you got to gang tackle.
The good news is the Browns will have their defensive star Myles Garrett back this week after missing the last 2 games because of COVID-19.
I think the guys get a big boost when they see number 95 out there with them. So that's just based on how productive he's been for us, all the game-changing plays he's made for us throughout this season.
The Browns must continue to run the football well, especially late in games like they have been, but they may need Baker Mayfield's arm against the Titans' defense to put them over the top. Tennessee has the 7th worst passing defense in the league in total yards.
We have great players throughout the roster. We're deep at every position, and we're coachable. At the same time, we'll do what it takes for the team to win.
The playoffs might be weeks away, but today's game will certainly have that playoff feel. The Titans beat the Colts last week, giving them a 1-game lead in the AFC South. So in the playoff race, today's game means more to the Browns, who are still alive for the AFC North Division title.
Browns already have 3 road wins, which is 1 more than they had last season. And while the Titans have won 3 straight in this series, the Browns have won 3 of the last 5 games down in Tennessee. Well, this game features 2 of the top 3 rushing attacks in the NFL. For the Titans, Derrick Henry leading the league with more than 1,200 yards and a dozen touchdowns.
But in the 3 games since Nick Chubb and Wyatt Teller returned from injury, the Browns are averaging just under 200 yards on the ground and have climbed from 5th back to 1st in the NFL in rushing.
Well, PJ, this game should be decided in the trenches, so let's bring in our expert, former Pro Bowl tackle and now Browns radio analyst Doug Deacon. And Doug, these 2 teams, well, it's kind of like playing the guy looking back at you through the mirror. Weird, right?
Yeah, they both are run-heavy teams, and they both established their offense around the running game. They run the outside zone, and I think Tennessee probably runs a little bit more inside power.
Doug, I think anybody will tell you it's been so hard to stop Derrick Henry this year. Look at any team that they've played, but what can the Browns do to slow him down, and how much does Myles Garrett coming back maybe help?
Well, it helps because you got to set the edge on both sides, and Vernon has played well the last couple games. and having Miles back there helps you out. But the thing is about Henry, when you tackle him, you need population. In other words, you need help. So you got to shed your blockers at the line of the scrimmage and get off the blocks. And you're not going to tackle that guy with an arm tackle. You got to bring a couple people.
Absolutely takes a village. All right, Ryan Tannehill, he has been one of the best play-action passers, Doug, in the NFL the past couple of years. And so with Denzel still out, how can the Browns secondary limit big plays against this young quarterback and company?
Well, I think you got to play a game of cat and mouse. You got to make them think the safeties are coming up to play to run, and hopefully, get back to, cover their two outside receivers, A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. And I think, on the other hand, if they're going to run the ball, you're going to need a safety to help out in the tackling. So you can't give away what your coverage is going to be.
Doug, the Titans ranked 28th against the pass. Can the Browns win this game simply by just running the football on the ground?
Well, they're going to have to pass the ball, I think. The fact is that the Titans only have 14 sacks on the year, so they do not have a great pass rush. The cornerbacks are not the strong suit. The safeties are the strength of that defense. And, to exploit them, I think you're going to have to, throw the football.
He is Doug Deacon. He is our analyst, and you will hear his call later today as the Browns battle the Titans. Thanks much, Doug.
Thank you very much, Doug. We are just getting started on Orange and Brown Countdown. Still ahead, Baker Mayfield knows that he needs to play better to win in December.
This is the stretch of the season where every game counts, every play counts. You have to make these moments count. So these are the things that we've been trying to build up to, and we're here now. So we're in the middle of it, so we'll seize the moment.
Coming up, we'll ask Andre Knott about how Baker can improve his accuracy, especially in the red zone. Plus,
Straddle that fine line of being aggressive and smart, and I think he's done a nice job the last few weeks, and even in that last game, he threw some tight window balls that had to be perfect, and they were. So I think he's doing a nice job in that regard.
Hear more from Kevin Stefanski about how Baker can continue to avoid interceptions when Orange and Brown Countdown continues.
The quarterback segment is brought to you by Wayside Furniture.
Just outside the Jags 5. Mayfield, a fake into the end zone. Boy, he had his man wide open, and he missed him. Higgins was all by himself.
That he was. Well, Baker Mayfield has missed 3 open receivers in the end zone the last 2 games, and those kinds of mistakes could come back to haunt him against playoff teams like the Titans. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson were the only 2 starting quarterbacks who did not throw an interception during the month of November.
But while Watson threw 9 touchdown passes and ran another score, Baker only had 2 touchdown passes and admits he misfired on several other opportunities.
No, I'm not going to add any more pressure on myself, but I'm very critical of my play. It's just I pride myself on being an accurate passer, and I didn't do that. So I'm going to beat myself up about that because I know I can be better.
Longtime Browns sideline reporter Andre Knott joins us now. And Andre, can the Browns beat teams like the Titans, Ravens, and Steelers if Baker keeps turning touchdowns into field goals?
PJ, No. But he knows that. And I think when you just show the play that he saw, I think we all think of it as a physical thing. And yes, it's physical because it's not accurate. But to me, it's mental. And I think because he mentally was slow on his read, he then rushes through the pass. He has to be better with his pre-snap reads and the read as soon as the ball snapped. If he's able to do that, gentlemen, I think the accuracy comes along with it.
Well, let's also talk about the defense playing. They play a lot of safety. So how does this affect this young quarterback here in Cleveland? What do you think, Dre?
Yeah, I think this is going to be, look, this is bully ball versus bully ball. This is old school football. This is going to be a lot like the old AFC Central football games. What they're going to have to do is, if you're going to have to find out, will the Titans be willing to put that safety down in the box? We've seen teams be more willing to do that without Odell Beckham Jr. in the game. And that'll mean that the running game will probably be slowed down a little bit, and Baker's going to have to make some throws. But JT, if they can get that safety to come down there, you've got enough speed, enough players, hopefully with play action, that you can beat them deep. You're going to have to steal a touchdown or two against this Tennessee team, and they're going to need Baker at his finest.
All right, he is Andre Knott, and we'll see how it all plays out later today down in Nashville. Thanks, Andre. While Baker Mayfield taking responsibility for some poor throws in the red zone, Kevin Stefanski is also pointing the finger at himself for his fourth down play calls.
Stefanski says he has been pleased with the way the Browns are improving each and every week, but there is still a long way to go to compete with the top teams in December and January.
I don't think I've coached my best. I think as a staff we can do a better job. I know I can do a better job. So that is the ideal here to be ascending in the second half of this season. Again, I mentioned December football. That's when you really do want to start playing your best football. So we got to put a game together and a series of games together where our offense, our defense, and our special teams all play at a high level.
By the way, that's his best background he's shown, with Jim Brown in the background there for those Zoom calls. Stefanski has been very complimentary towards those Titans and the coaching staff, especially head coach Mike Vrabel, a Northeast Ohio native, and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, whose creative play calling has made him one of the hottest head coaching candidates.
And hopefully Stefanski and his staff can match wits with the Titans coaches, because if the Browns win this game, there's a good chance they may have to travel to Tennessee again for the first round of the playoffs. Stay tuned. Much more ahead on Orange and Brown Countdown, including our keys to the game, the 3 things the Browns must do to beat the Titans and keep the top wildcard spot in the AFC, starting with the one thing Baker Mayfield did 3 times in last year's meeting.
And the Browns are 8-3. What does Tony Rizzo still want to see from Baker? We'll check in with the Browns Radio Network host next on Orange and Brown Countdown.